Four-game series against the Indians. Take a look around. Does this happen to look familiar? This field just outside of downtown was used in the opening credits for Major League, the all-time great sports movie. Coming up in the broadcast, we'll have a special guest on to chat about the beloved baseball film. Don't go anywhere. Astros baseball on Root Sports starts now.
Following a win in last night's opener in Cleveland, the Houston Astros are getting set at Progressive Field for Game 2 with the Indians. It figures to be a battle with the Astros sending rookie right-hander Vince Velasquez up against Cy Young winner Corey Kluber. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum with you here in Game 2 tonight. It should be a good one. But last night, birthday boy Preston Tucker had a big night. Is that the kind of night with 4 hits and a home run that can propel him forward for the club?
Absolutely. Hopefully there's no hangover from that last night, putting out all those hits and runs. But A.J. Hinch, I think, said it after the game. He loved the way he was spraying the ball around the ballpark, and that could lead to good things for him.
Tonight, it's going to be another nice pitching matchup for the Astros. Vince Velasquez goes out there, and he's been pretty darn good his last couple of starts. Corey Kluber, really good, the Cy Young winner last year.
Yeah, extremely good. You mentioned it, former Cy Young. The numbers really don't match up if you look over the course of the season, but right now in those last 10 starts, the opponent batting average down, fastball, cutter, 11.5 strikeouts per 9 innings against a team that strikes out quite a bit. It's going to be interesting to see how these Astros attack. They were aggressive on the fastball last night. We'll see if they can do it again against Kluber tonight.
We mentioned Vince Velasquez going out there tonight, and the last couple of times maybe toned down the velocity and got a lot better success.
Yeah, taking off some velocity will create a little more movement. We saw him working in the strike zone. I think that was a good thing. That's why the pitchers are down, but he's in the zone with that fastball, able to get to that breaking ball. We saw a lot of really good breaking balls last time against Kansas City to get those 7 punch-outs in 6 1/3 innings.
Coming up, so a good pitching matchup is on tap tonight, and another chance for the Astros to pad their lead in the American League West. Blummer and I will have all the action from Cleveland, Ohio in just a few minutes. Game 2 of the 4-game series. We've had some rain throughout much of the late afternoon into the evening. It has gone away pretty much for the good part until about 3 minutes ago. Started coming down pretty good, and now it's stopped again. The guys with the tarp on the field, Blummer, not sure what to do. Pitchers are trying to get loose. What does this do to two teams trying to get ready for a game?
Well, first of all, I don't envy those guys on the tarp. They've got the worst job in baseball, especially up here in Cleveland with this sprinkle shower. But the guys have gone up into the bullpen. They're still getting loose, Kluber and Velasquez, so it hasn't fazed them at all. They're planning on that 7:20 start. But for those guys that are playing in the field, the only thing you don't get to do is go out there and take some ground balls. But I'm sure they're up underneath the hitting in the cages, getting nice and loose. They'll come out and throw a couple warm-up tosses, but it won't take them long to get ready for this game.
The Astros won the first of the series last night, a nice 9-4 victory. Swinging the bats very well, got some solid pitching out of Dallas Keuchel, who wins his 11th on the year. And when it's all out in the wash, the Angels, who were off yesterday, drop a half a game, so they're 3.5 back now. And you look at the rest of the division, the Rangers, Mariners, Athletics, the Astros just past that midway point. In a pretty good spot, I would think, for the club.
I think they're in a great spot. Really, the only chance they've had to gain ground on the Angels is have them have that day off. They've been playing some great baseball, but I think they're in pole position right now. I think a lot of people expected them to fall by the wayside by now, but they're proven to be pretty strong. Keep that pitching healthy and getting some timely hitting from guys like Preston Tucker, Marwin Gonzalez. All those role players are going to have to start stepping up and picking up.
Of course, we're talking also about the All-Star game coming up. We finish out this week with the schedule. We'll go on after the 4 games here in Cleveland on to Tampa Bay 3 with the Rays. And then it's All-Star break time. Dallas Keuchel now being named to the team. And Julia Morales has a little more information along with Dallas to talk about that All-Star experience coming up.
I do, yeah. Last night was a great win for this team, but the celebrations kept coming. They went into the clubhouse, A.J. Hinch telling the team that Dallas Keuchel was named to the AL All-Star team. Dallas, of course, found out just before the game. That was a phone call, a very special one that the manager got to have with his ace. But Dallas, a huge part of the Astros' success this year, has been great in the American League, overall in the majors, but the numbers in the American League, you can see he's ranked first in several categories. Of course, the 11th win getting last night over the Indians. He's up there in innings pitched, so this team leaning on him. But a very happy Dallas Keuchel with the announcement that he'd been named to his first AL All-Star team.
I mean, I never expected this, and it's not something I dwell on, but to be voted in by the players was a very special moment for me, just because I battled some of those guys, and they're very good players. And for my peers to vote me in is a very special moment for me, and something I'll never forget.
You had an opportunity to start. Is that something that you would like to do?
I mean, I'd like to, but it's nothing like I'm going to fret over. There's plenty of deserving candidates. I think there's guys a lot more nasty than I am, and I'm just happy to be at the game and watch some of the best players in the world go at it.
You had the most player ballot votes, if you know that or not, but you did, of any starting pitcher. Does that add to the honor at all? That you got more than Scherzer or everybody?
I mean, it's a blessing, and like I said, to be voted by my peers is a tremendous honor, and that's the highest regard that I could ever achieve, and that's what I play for is help this team win, but also put us on the map and for other people to respect how we play and what we do.
Do you do much big picture thinking? I mean, last year you barely make the rotation, and then here you are, just all the stuff you've accomplished.
I don't do too much of that. It's just I try to work hard and do the best I can every fifth day, and luckily I've been doing all right, and the ball's been bouncing my way.
Tonight, just a lot of hits, and it seemed like you kind of limited to them.
I was struggling all night. Wasn't expecting 4 runs off Carrasco, a very quality pitcher and himself, and that was nice to see. Could never really get a rhythm. I was fighting my mechanics, and that's going to happen. But I try to grind it out. It's a very quality opponent over there, and I'm thankful to get through 6.
Working well because of the strikeouts. When you have that many strikeouts,
it looked like I was either spotting or just throwing it down the middle. So it was kind of hit or miss. I was kind of hoping and praying up there. They got some very quality hitters over there, and I mean they put some quality swings on balls, even some of the balls that were caught, and I'm just thankful to get through 6.
How did AJ tell you? What was set the scene
He called me. I answered, and he said, "What's up?" I said, "Nothing. How you doing?" And I said, "Did I get traded? Released?" And he said, "No, you made the All-Star team." And I said, "Oh." And it took a minute to kind of sink in, and that was it. And he said, "I'll see you at the field."
What was in the office?
I don't know if he was here or not, but I was at the hotel.
Oh, it was a phone call?
Phone call, yeah.
Did you call anybody, your folks, or did you call them?
I did not, because everybody in my family has loose lips. So it's not something I put out there just because I was instructed not to. And I didn't want it to leak out and myself get in trouble. So I kept it locked.
What was the little celebration like in here once everybody found out the team?
We all shook hands in a straight line, single file. And I said, "Thank you."
A big congratulations to Dallas Keuchel being named to the American League All-Star team. He'll join Jose Altuve and A.J. Hinch in that Midsummer Classic coming up next week. Don't go anywhere. We'll have first pitch and lineups coming up from Cleveland after the break. Time just 8 minutes away from first pitch, just a little bit of a rain delay here in Cleveland. And while we get ready for this game and while you get ready, we want you to take a look at this special piece as the Astros talk about how well they know their sabermetrics. Do you know your sabermetrics?
My what?
Sabermetrics.
What's that?
I have no idea. I don't even know what a sabermetric is.
Fib. I gotta get the pronunciation down first before I know the meaning. Don't even know what that is.
My own?
Fib? What are we talking about now?
I don't really know. I've heard.
I've seen it.
Fib. No, I don't.
Fielding something in play is what I'm guessing. I have no idea. Or percentage. That's what the P's got to mean.
I know that one. Fielding independent pitching, but I don't know how they calculate it.
You know what? I saw.
No clue what that is. I think it's if you took away your defense.
I think I should know more about this just because of, our front office and stuff.
It's basically like I think it takes your strikeout to walk ratio maybe, and how many home runs you give up. Is that it? Something like that.
It removes variables like defense and luck. What are you going to do to improve your Sierra this year?
I don't know what that is, though.
Sierra, the singer.
Well, my baby girl's name's Olivia, so I have no idea who Sierra is.
The Nevada mountains.
So I should have a higher Sierra?
Sierra Leone, the country in Africa.
I'm not really like a strikeout king. Right? Am I doing good? All right, am I passing?
What can I do to improve it again? I don't actually know how the formula works. Does anybody know what the formula is?
I don't really know how to answer that. That's not something I really think about when I go out and pitch, is how I can improve my WAR. I just try to help the team out as best as I can.
I know it's like wins above replacement, but I don't know. I have no idea the formula or anything about that.
Wins above replacement?
You working on that?
No, I'm not worried about it. But I know what it is. I was pretty excited about that.
Are you planning to work on your ISO this year?
If I knew what my ISO was, I'd probably give you an answer, but I don't even know what ISO means, so...
ISO means, like, alone, don't it? One?
Define ISO.
Isolated power.
Okay.
Define ISO. Just one?
It's isolated power.
Oh, you mean, okay.
Do you know what the 3 true outcomes of an at-bat are?
An out, a hit, I don't know, out, hit, run, out, hit, and a run? Because you got to hit a homer, right? Does that count?
An out or a hit?
A hit? No? A hit, a walk, and a strikeout.
Hit, strikeout, home run.
Close. It's actually a walk, strikeout, and home run.
Dang.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Walk, strikeout, home run. That's only 3 outcomes of an at-bat? According to who?
Are you worried about your BABIP?
Huh. If I knew what that was, I could probably give you an answer again, but I guess I can say there's probably always room for improvement.
Let me read it. I don't understand.
Okay, I know this one. Batting average with the balls in play, correct? Okay, nice.
Batting average, balls in play.
This team likes to have a lot of fun. I hope you got to get to know them a little bit better, these Houston Astros, who look to take Game 2 of this series. They took the first one last night from this Indians team, which has been tough for this team to do over the past couple of years. We talk about teams who have your number, and the Indians have had the Astros number. You see on there, they have the best record versus the Astros. 13-4 against the Houston Astros. That's not counting last night, so they got that win last night. AT&T Rewind, we look back at that win last night. The Houston Astros coming out aggressive against Carlos Carrasco, one of the toughest, hottest pitchers in the league. Didn't allow his first hit until the final of the outing before. Last night, Jose Altuve got to him early, and you see the hits kept coming. 5 in that first inning. They put 4 runs on the board in that first inning alone. And then Preston Tucker having a night as well. We'll get to him in just a second. It was his 25th birthday, and you'll see him with his 5th home run on the year right there to put the Astros on top 5-1. Astros feeling pretty good about the way they approached Carrasco yesterday, and of course helping Dallas Keuchel get the win. But they will face another tough pitcher for the Cleveland Indians tonight, Corey Kluber on the mound. And with that, I toss it to the boys in the booth, Blummer and Ash, about what kind of approach you think these Astros need against this tough pitcher.
It's going to be interesting. It's a little bit different than Carrasco. By the way, great job focusing down there through all the harassment you were taking down there, Julia. Great job. But Kluber's a little bit different. His numbers are actually getting better than they were last year. He's not getting the run support. Fastball, cut fastball. He's going to throw those 2 pitches 84% of the time. The fastball is around 93 miles an hour. Cutter around 88 to 90 miles an hour. It's not like a true slider, so it's going to be tough when you see it on that outside corner to lay off it, because you know it's just going to have a slight little cut. What you got to try and do is see that ball on the plate and react quickly. We saw him hit good fastballs from Carrasco last night. I expect him to do the same thing tonight. Just a matter of location for Kluber.
For me, Corey Kluber's a guy that I wouldn't be inclined to take a lot of early pitches on. Really tough pitcher, great stuff. The pitches Blummer talks about, obviously great strengths, but I think as he gets ahead in a count, he's just going to make it tougher and tougher on hitters. So I try to get something early against Kluber and take my chances at that point. So the Houston Astros facing this very tough right-hander. And tonight's starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. For the Astros, Jose Altuve leads it off, followed by Preston Tucker, who had the big night on his birthday last night, and then Carlos Correa. Middle three in the order, the DH Evan Gattis, followed by center fielder Colby Rasmus, and the catcher tonight, Hank Conger. And the bottom three, Marwin Gonzalez at third base, first baseman John Singleton, and in left field, Alex Presley.
Well, I think you hit it on the head with Kluber being aggressive early. That was the attack mode on Carrasco last night, is getting that fastball. Don't allow them to get to those out pitches, because this guy right here, he can rack up some serious punch outs. 269 last year. And actually, his K per 9 innings is actually a little bit higher this year.
So Corey Kluber, one of those really tough guys for the hitters to face. And of course, last night with Carrasco on the hill, it figured to be one of those nights as well. Bats came alive, 4 runs immediately in the first inning. The Astros would love to repeat that act again here tonight. Always a threat to rain here this evening, but for the moment looks good, and I think both clubs would love to get this one in without any rain delays.
Yeah, I think that would be a huge bonus for everybody, getting these games in before the All-Star break, not having to worry about maybe playing a doubleheader the next 2 days or trying to reschedule on a day off after the All-Star break.
Yeah, that latter scenario is one I'm sure nobody wants.
Well, I think Kansas City is the one that has to worry about that. They've got a bunch of games to make up.
So for the Astros, Jose Altuve gets it started. 14-game hitting streak in tow for Jose. We'll see if the Astros try to go about getting at Kluber early as that fastball sails up and in. Certainly a very tough pitcher. And when you win a Cy Young award at any point in your career, you're among the very best in the league. Last time out, 8 innings of 3 earned runs against Kluber. That coming against Tampa Bay in a no decision. In fact, he's run 2 consecutive no decisions together. His last win came back on May 28th at Seattle. 6 starts without a W. And that kind of leads to the record 3-9 on the season. Really doesn't make sense, though, when you consider the ERA, which is quite good.
No, all the numbers are great, and that's the thing. You try and dig a little bit on them, and you try and find some numbers that might explain why the record is the way it is. The one that really pops after you get through them all is the runs per game that are being scored for him, 2.43.
Altuve gets tied up, pops it up on the infield. Urshela, the third baseman, with the play, and the first out of the evening.
Here at Progressive Field, David Murphy's going to get back out there in left field. Michael Bourne in center field, ex-Astro. Brandon Moss in right. On the left, Giovanni Urshela. And Francisco Lindor, Jason Kipnis. Second base, Carlos Santana at first, and Yan Gomes behind home plate working with Corey Kluber.
Preston Tucker comes to the plate. I'm sure he would be glad for us to say it over and over, but 4 hits with a dinger last night, pushing that batting average up to 252. 21 RBIs now for Preston. 73 degrees as we start the night. 77:21 the start time. 11-minute rain delay.
Lefties have been having a little bit better time off Corey Kluber. The average against is at 292.
Right there at the knees, inside corner, 93 miles an hour. Ball and a strike. And that's part of what you're going to get with a guy like Corey Kluber. Tough locations on the strikes. And as he gets deeper into the count, provided he's ahead, he will try to make those tougher one after another.
Well, that cutter's going to cut back into lefties. If it gets left out of the plate, it can be hit a little bit. But I think what he did last time out against the Astros in Minute Maid Park was throwing that running fastball on the inside corner back over the plate. Left-handed hitters giving up on it a little bit.
Breaking ball line to center field. At it again is Preston Tucker. A 1-out single here in the first inning.
Look at our strike zone is going to be presented by MD Anderson. Watch the hands of Preston Tucker. The hands are back. He keeps them back. stays on that good pitch in the lower part of the zone. That was excellent. And we talked about it in the open. A.J. Hinch mentioned that he, in watching Preston Tucker, watch him get that first base hit and a couple knocks in Boston going the other way is a good sign for Preston. It means that he's letting the ball travel.
Tucker aboard at first base. Carlos Correa at the plate. Carlos has a good early swing, and maybe there's that philosophy. He's been willing to take some strikes recently.
Well, Carrasco threw some sinkers in, and I think it was more Carlos chasing them in. They might have been off the plate a little bit, because if it's on the plate on that inner third, he's had some pretty good success.
0 for his last 5. Takes a strike on the inside edge, and it would appear for the moment that clubs are trying to pitch in on Correa. See some of those
numbers.
Yeah, some of the numbers on Correa.
That one right there, that 268 behind in the count. We just figured out that the major league average is 208 in that category, so not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
He's in that scenario. It's now 1-2. Corey Kluber is 29 years of age. Born in Birmingham, Alabama. Attended school at Stetson University.
Love their hats.
You've always been a Stetson guy, haven't you? Slider away. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, that's that cutter on the outside. You see it starting on that outer third. Might be similar to that scenario we saw yesterday. If you see a slider cutter starting on the outer third, let it, if you can, let it go. You see that cutter starting in the middle, a good chance it breaks over that outer third. Go ahead and attack it.
Carlos Correa already 7 home runs in the bigs. That fastball right on the hands, popped up on the infield. Second baseman Kipnis with the play. 2 down in the first inning. So they do continue to pound in on Correa, see if he makes an adjustment. That'll bring up the cleanup man, Evan Gattis. He's hit in 7 straight.
That's what it's all about. Constantly making adjustments, trying to stay one step ahead.
$14 bombs on the year for Evan. Team leading 51 RBIs. He's been all the Astros bargained for when they brought him over. That guy in the heart of the order that drives the baseball, drives in runs. And you get the sense that he just loves those chances to drive in runs. You know, A.J. Hinch is very pleased with what he's gotten from his DH. Good sink on that 94-mile-an-hour heater. It's game number 86 for the Astros.
You just tip your cap on that one. Live to fight another pitch.
It's also game number 5 on this 10-game trip. 2 more in Cleveland, 3 in Tampa Bay, and then the All-Star break. Good swing by Evan. Surprisingly, Gattis has walked only 12 times this year. Maybe the largest surprise, 4 triples. Swings on the slider, down and away, down on strikes, and that'll do it as Kluber gets through the first inning. A base hit by Tucker. He's stranded, scoreless after a half. Nice for the moment for the ball game. Scoreless after a half for the Cleveland Indians here this evening. Jason Kipnis will lead it off. Look at that batting average, 340. He has been terrific. Followed by Francisco Lindor, the shortstop, and then the DH tonight, Michael Brantley. Middle three, David Murphy. He's in left. It's Yan Gomes, the catcher, and Brandon Moss playing in right field. The bottom three, Carlos Santana at first, Giovanni Urshela, he's the third baseman, and in center, Michael Bourne.
Vince Velasquez for your Houston Astros. No decisions in those 5 starts. A little bit of a rough time out of the gate for the youngster in his rookie season. 4.21 ERA. That whip is going down. He's doing a better job of throwing more strikes. We saw him take a little bit off that velocity to create a little more movement, but he's doing a good job of locating. Had a great curveball last time out against Kansas City also.
So Velasquez set to start things out. Jason Kipnis at the plate. Well, he's got a great set of numbers. This turned into a whale of a player on the All-Star team.
Deservedly so.
Absolutely. 6 home runs, 36 RBIs, on base percentage up over 400. Plays a solid second base for the Tribe. Has a 1-1 count.
Changeup?
Might have been. Kipnis has drawn 39 walks on his year. Sees the count at 1-2. 94 on that heat from Velasquez.
Yeah, if I'm a Cleveland Indian hitter, right or left, I'm sitting on that cheddar cheese that Vince Velasquez pitches with. Not necessarily concerned with the location of it. I'm just looking heater out over the plate.
Yeah, Vince just 23 years of age, and he's looking like a major league pitcher, a guy who could stick in this rotation.
I agree. He's making adjustments. It's good to see.
Spots it well down and in. Count stays at 1-2. Watching a couple of foul balls here, you hope that it doesn't turn into one of those nights where everything Vince runs up there, the others foul off.
Is there any way to explain why that happens to Vince so often?
Much more so than any other pitcher on the Astros staff. I guess the response from me would be no, but there's number 3 in terms of the foul balls.
I wonder if it's tough for hitters to pick it up. They pick it up late. Therefore, if the barrel's behind the ball or behind your swing a little bit, that leads to a lot of foul balls. You see him as a left-handed hitter going up over the third base dugout.
1-2 the count. Look how quietly Kipnis takes that slider. Front side didn't even budge. Look at the front side. Just not even any movement.
It's like he's stepping on an egg on that front foot, just nice and soft.
I mean, that's the way you would teach somebody to try to approach hitting. Not easy to do. And another foul ball. So at least on the first hitter of the night for Velasquez, it's that issue of the foul balls. It's not like Vince is doing anything wrong. It's just a tough circumstance. Velasquez born in Montclair, California, and now 3-2. And the foul balls can lead to walks and being forced to throw fastballs maybe through the heart of the plate late in a count.
Well, if I'm Vince Velasquez and I throw 95 plus, I'm getting a little annoyed. I'm going to try and throw it extra hard. He's throwing strikes.
Yep. And it's got to be frustrating. 95 on that fastball. Velasquez, a second-round pick by the Astros in 2010. Brings the 3-2, 10th pitch, and it's hit sharply, but Altuve's there. And there's out number 1. It takes 10 pitches to get there, and brings up the shortstop Francisco Lindor.
High quality first at bat. Alex Presley out there in left, Colby Rasmus in center, Preston Tucker in right. On the left, again, Margot at third and Carlos Correa at short, of course. Working with Altuve at second base. John Singleton gets out there at first base, picking up for Chris Carter. And Hank Conger gets the start against the right-hander Corey Kluber.
Lindor just in his 22nd game of the season. He's hit a home run, driven in 6 while hitting .215. For Vince Velasquez, 6th start now in the major leagues. Made quite an impression. 2-0. He's allowed just a couple of home runs in 25 and 2/3 innings. In fact, you can make that 26 full innings right now. The walks are up. He's walked over 4 per 9 innings. The 2-0 hit in the air, center field, easy for Colby Rasmus. And 2 down here in the first. Got to bring up the DH tonight. Michael Brantley got a start last night in center field. Maybe on a ball or two, didn't have the best of breaks on balls that got over his head last night.
It was tough early on. Astros were barreling everything up and shooting it over his head, and then later in the game, a couple of jam shots fell in front.
So maybe early you start reacting in and the ball's over your head, and then you start reacting the other way. And that was one of those nights for the Astros. They handled everything well. Talk about another guy with a nice quiet approach from that left side of the plate. Velasquez pitched 5 seasons in the minor leagues and went 25 and 14. Had a very nice ERA of 3.26. So he's done everything it takes to get to the big leagues. Allowed far less hits than innings pitched. Just over 7 hits allowed each 9 innings. Brantley hitting .286. Hasn't featured the long ball much this year. He's hit 4. What's that changeup?
Good pitch. Even on that inside corner. Change of speeds will throw the hitter off, especially when you're trying to sit 95. And your first reaction when you're facing a guy throwing 95 and you see a pitch coming to that inside corner is to get the head out. That usually happens too quick before you can recognize changeup.
Change again. That's rammed into right field. 2-out single by Brantley. He's aboard for David Murphy, the left fielder.
Just catching a little too much of the zone, and he just saw one on that inner third, maybe recognized the rotation. But again, Brantley, a very good hitter.
Murphy's had a nice season, hitting .323 with 5 homers. On base percentage well above the league average at .364. The Indians have run successfully this year, though they haven't run a whole lot. They've stolen 39, 8th in the league. Caught just 14 times. Jason Kipnis is actually the leader in stolen bases, but Brantley has stolen 9 in 10 tries. 0-1 on Murphy. The Indians have hit .250 as a team. That's right in the middle of the pack. They're 8th. They're 12th in runs scored. So the offense just hasn't gotten it done. And when you look at why the Indians are maybe not as good as some people had thought they would be this year, probably would look first at the offensive side of things. Got a starting rotation, at least with the names in the arms, that I don't think many teams are ready to just jump out there, throw their bats at. A little pitch out as the Astros anticipate the running game. There's your offensive numbers for the Indians.
That second number. 2 out, runners in scoring position. That's that clutch hitting. Not too well this year. But slugging 14th.
When you talk home runs, Terry Francona's club is 12th in the league. Line shot to right field, and that's going to get over Tucker and go all the way to the wall. That's also going to produce a run likely. Brantley comes to the plate. No throw comes that way. RBI double by David Murphy. So with the back-to-back 2-out hits, the Indians get on the board. They lead it 1-0.
That's the last time I bring up runners in scoring position and slugging percentage.
Boy, did you mess that one up.
Good grief.
See, you won't get hung up on that one, though, because there was nobody in scoring position there. So
yeah,
it really was a non-comment on your part.
Well, when you can slug the ball, it turns in everybody's in scoring position. I've seen the Astros do it quite a bit this year, driving guys in from first and from home plate with their home runs. The Indians taking advantage early. It's just a fastball left up out over the plate. Talked about them being aggressive on the fastball.
Michael Brantley didn't look exactly like he was flying there. Yan Gomes now has a man in scoring position, 2 outs.
Just kind of coasting. Knew he had it.
Maybe he just had it sized up. 225 the batting average for Gomes. A couple of hits in last night's game, a couple of doubles. That foul tip that makes you wonder why you decided you wanted to be in the starting lineup tonight if you're catching.
Just looks like pure enjoyment. It's got to be fun if you've got a sinus infection or maybe fighting a cold. Really rattle things around in there.
I've asked you about dreams, if you still see balls coming your way. And sometimes that exact thing will happen in the dreams.
I still flinch on bad hops that I have about, in the middle of the night dreaming.
Gomes takes up and in. 2-1 the count. You know what? Those dreams aren't likely to end for you anytime soon.
That's good to know. Got that going for me.
Those 2 doubles for Gomes last night give him 6 on the season. Got injured in the first week of the season, and he missed a whole lot of time. Gomes now just in his 36th game. Had a fine year with the Indians last year. 21 home runs with 74 RBIs for a catcher. Obviously big numbers. Hits one in the air center field, and that's deep. Colby going back. On the warning track, he'll make the catch, and that'll do it. The Indians get a run in the first inning on a couple of 2-out hits. They lead it 1-0. HEB.com. And brought to you by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. Second inning from what used to be the Jake, now Progressive Field in Cleveland. 1-0 the Tribe on top. A couple of 2-out hits against Vince Velasquez in the first inning for that run. It'll be 5, 6, 7 coming up for the Astros. In the first inning, Preston Tucker had a base hit. He was left stranded. It's Colby Rasmus, Hank Conger, and Marwin Gonzalez here in the second. That outing, Chicago White Sox and Toronto Blue Jays last night, less than 2 hours. Chris Sale and Mark Burley. Now, you know Burley's going to work quickly. I guess Sale gets right after business. An hour and 51. That's pretty darn impressive.
It's a good matchup.
That's guys going at it.
Didn't have to use the bullpen.
Little pop down the left side, curling back to the seats. 0-2 on Colby. Corey Kluber is one of those guys on the mound that goes right after business.
It always seems like it's the guys with great stuff and confidence just keep wanting the ball.
Corey Kluber is going to pick up his strikeouts, no question about it, but tries to keep his defense in the game as well. Ball and 2 strikes. Colby Rasmus leading off in the second inning. The Astros start the day 49-36, so they're looking for that 50th win of the year. Kansas City has the best winning percentage in the American League. They're at 46-33. We've got some games to make up, as Blummer was talking about. Yankees lead in the East by a 1.5 games over Baltimore. This all at the start of play today. Kansas City leading over Minnesota by 4, 5.5 over the Tigers. Tigers have got to make a move in the second half, don't they?
I would think so. They've got to get healthy.
Yeah, Miguel Cabrera out now. High fly ball right field, not deep. Coming on is Brandon Moss. The catch makes it 1 out, and Hank Conger comes to the plate. And then the American League West. Houston, the Angels 3.5 back. Texas at 7 back. Seattle is 10 and 11 games behind the Oakland A's. So the Astros have put themselves in a nice position, but bottom line right now is keep going out as A.J. Hinch would have them, playing it one day at a time and having your best game you can have on that given day. Hank Conger hitting .233. He's done a nice job with the bat. 4 home runs, 11 RBIs. With Conger swinging left-handed, it brings on the shift again. That cutter on the hands. It's really hard to keep that pitch fair.
That's exactly right. That's usually what happens, is you get a little bit quick recognizing it, and then you just turbo hook one down there and scatter the crowd and hopefully don't injure the sideline reporter.
Yeah, if you don't get the head out early, you're just going to get blown up on that pitch.
It turns into toothpicks, sawdust, firewood.
All of which is useful, but not desirable for a hitter.
Yeah, not something to brag about.
Conger with a 1-2 count.
Surviving. Surviving.
I'm good down here.
That would come at you?
No, I think we should actually get you a helmet and have you in a helmet full time down there.
I know.
What part was scary, the baseball or Valbuena right next to you?
A little of both. Those things come in hot when you're down here.
The 1-2. 2-2 on Conger. Marwin Gonzalez waits on deck.
That 50th win for the Astros, if they can get it tonight, they would be the first American League team to 50.
The only other team in the major leagues that does have 50 wins, St. Louis Cardinals. What a great first half plus of the season they've put together. 54-28. And they've got a 6-game lead over the Pirates, who have been playing great baseball. Pirates are 27-15 at home this year.
Yeah, they're great. Losing Harrison out there is going to be a huge blow for that ball club, too. But how about if the Astros were still in the NL Central, they'd be in 3rd place?
Wow.
Is that
hard
something
to
think about?
imagine.
That'd be one of the bonuses for moving to the AL West.
Ground ball sharply hit but foul. National League Central for a lot of years was considered the weak spot. Not so much.
Well, those up-and-coming Cubs with the kids they've got that swing the bats, but the Pirates and Cardinals, they've been duking it out here for the last couple of years.
Well, look at the Cubs. I mean, they've played well.
Yeah.
I think the Reds have been a disappointment. I don't know if anybody thought the Brewers were going to do much, but I don't know if they thought they were going to be as bad as they've been. Breaking ball got him looking. Conger frozen on that pitch. 2nd strikeout for Kluber. 2 outs. It brings up Marwin Gonzalez.
Yellowwood is bringing the lumber with Preston Tucker, the birthday boy. Got himself a changeup down. Got on those legs, drove it out of there. Reggie Jackson style, getting on that back knee. Then it was Marwin Gonzalez reaching out over the plate. Getting a good fastball, getting good wood on it, driving to that right center field bleacher, bullpen area. The bats were being swung last night.
Marwin has a nice little 4-game hitting streak. He's swung the bat very well, both sides of the plate. Hitting .256. Utility infielder that in basically the first half of the season has clubbed 6 home runs. Not too bad. Gotten in a lot of ball games. Number 63 for Marwin. Again, it's number 86 for the Astros tonight. Right on the hands, but roped down the right field line and just foul.
I don't know about that.
Me too. I'm not sure Rich Dower, the first base coach, is in agreement. Not putting up a big argument, but I think Rich saw that differently.
Wow, good call.
That's a great call, isn't it?
Man. Paul Nauert, first base umpire. And it's tough for Benjamin to get out of the way. It was hit so hard.
By the way, Dana DeMuth behind the plate tonight. He's the crew chief. Paul Nauert at first. Ed Hickox is at second. Down at third, it's Mike Estabrook. So, a lot of times you're talking about calls that may not have been right. That was terrific.
Kluber's trying to figure out what to do. Marwin Gonzalez just cleared the kitchen with that fastball inside.
He shortens up on that bat from the left side and does have a very quick swing.
Slider.
You got that pitch, just kind of hung through the heart of the plate and up a bit.
Was a good pitch to hit. 2 strikes.
You know that's not where Kluber wanted it, and yet his stuff is so good that you're always dealing with something tough.
It's good depth on it. You see that drop in the pitch. Sometimes guys will have those cutters that are flat and just break straight across, but that one had a little more depth to it, and that's why Marwin got on top.
The 1-2 to Marwin. Well, he just reaches out and spoils. That's exactly what we've talked about many times about expanding with 2 strikes and just making sure that you don't leave it in the umpire's hands.
Yeah, take it out of their hands. That whiff percentage on the cutter is getting better and better year by year. Kluber maturing, realizing what a weapon that thing can be. That whiff percentage of 40%. My goodness.
Best in baseball. Breaking ball gets him. That is right over the top on that slider. Strikeout, third of the night recorded by Corey Kluber. A 1-2-3 second inning. It's 1-0 Cleveland.
where he's headed as far as his last 2 starts, getting better and better, using that breaking ball and throwing it for strikes, and that's what helped him in his last 2 starts. Look much better in those last 2 starts against 2 really good teams, I might add. The Kansas City Royals and the Yankees, both really good clubs, 2 completely different approaches. But Rindstrom, the pitching coach, said today, I really want to see this kid get his first win. Of course, he's still waiting for that first major league win, guys.
And he's got the stuff to get a whole bunch on a career that figures to be a good long one. For the Indians, Brandon Moss leads it off. He's the right fielder. Be followed by Carlos Santana and Giovanni Urshela. Velasquez falls behind immediately. 2 balls and no strikes. Got the first 2 hitters in the first inning, but then Michael Brantley hit a ground ball through the right side. David Murphy chased Brantley home with a double to right field. And that's the scoring on the night. Well, Brandon Moss, probably the power source right now for the Indians, has a good swing on the 2-0. Another good fastball at the knees. It's 2-2. But we are seeing a lot of those foul balls. Moss with 14 home runs. Yeah, that stuff I think is creeping our way too, isn't it?
Swallowing the building across the street.
I think they're making a movie about that too. Another pop foul on the left side.
Goodness, we talk about how many shifts the Astros put on. You might as well just put somebody in the stands.
I wonder if Brandon Moss has a reason, an answer for why all the foul balls against Vince Velasquez.
It's pretty amazing.
Here it comes.
Uh-oh.
The fog that ate Cleveland. Change got him. That's a great pitch. So on the 2-2, that changeup gets the first strikeout of the night for Vince Velasquez. Out number 1 brings up Carlos Santana.
That gives us a chance to talk about his pitch usage. Last start went heavy on that fastball, probably because he was locating it so well. But because he was locating it so well, he was able to throw that curveball 41% of the time. Been working on that slider, trying to mix that one in there. He got a little sliver of a slider in there. The only disappointing thing on that slider is that it got raked, the one he threw. So they're hitting 1,000 off it this year. Not sure that means anything.
Ground ball sharply hit. That finds a hole on the right side. Base hit for Santana. 1-out single brings up the 8-hitter Giovanni Urshela. 3rd hit for the Tribe tonight. Yeah, I think we had a notion that we were going to see a lot of that slider from Velasquez. Didn't pan out, but maybe at some point.
Still a work in progress. Tell you what, that changeup we saw him strike Moss out with, I like.
That was great. Yeah, use that changeup as a strikeout weapon. Off speed for a strike to start things on Urshela. Brent Strom, boy, he stays on top of it. I don't know that I've ever seen a pitching coach put more into and take so much out of what goes on every night with his pitchers. Ground ball up the middle. That's backhanded by Altuve. He'll get an out, and a nice play on both ends. Correa and Altuve. 2nd out of the inning. Not easy at all.
Remind me not to play Carlos Correa in Twister. If you see the position he got in to make that play. First of all, I was trying to figure out how in the world Urshela hit this pitch. Looked like he scooped it off the ground. Great job by Altuve to get there, but man, I realize how many body parts would fall off me if I tried that move. Great play to get that lead out.
I'm actually highly concerned to even think about it.
Oh, it hurts thinking about it.
Oh, to be young and flexible, huh?
Yeah.
Michael Bourne at the plate. Fastball just away. Bourne did not play in last night's game. Hitting .235. Has yet to homer on the year. 18 RBIs. sure you have felt it already. That air here at the ballpark has cooled down considerably.
Yeah, that cool breeze usually doesn't mean good things. Hopefully it's just a passing shower. How about a passing drizzle? Because right there's a window.
Let's get to that window quickly.
Worst 3 words in baseball.
Swing and a miss by Bourne. That 2-0 is slipping by. Yeah, we've got a window coming, and then about 2.5 hours later, you're waiting to get back out there, right?
Yeah.
That's the ones when you never get on the field. It's going to stop raining by about 7:30. We'll get out there, and it's 9:30, and everybody's talking about when's that window coming.
Kind of deceptive if you zoom in like that. Then you pull back and you're like, oh.
I think it's a beautiful day here in Cleveland.
Ominous. You spent plenty of time here. You should know the weather pattern's pretty good.
I studied them. Line drive to right field, back and leaping to make the play, Preston Tucker. And that turned out to be tough, but made by Tucker. That does it. The Indians don't get on the board in the second. They lead it 1-0 after 2.
Series at Minute Maid Park, July 21st to the 23rd. July 22nd is also $1 Hot Dog Wednesday, presented by Nolan Ryan Beef. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. And the show will be coming to town with the Red Sox.
Bring your overnight gear. 1-0 Cleveland. We go to the 3rd inning. John Singleton, the 8-hitter, leads it off. 3 strikeouts for Corey Kluber. 1 ball and no strikes. Singleton in his 7th game now. 20 official at bats, has 3 hits. One of those a double. Drawn a couple of walks. Struck out 10 times though. So 10 strikeouts and 20 official at bats.
50%
balancing act for you.
Like to see that cut down a little bit. He's working a little bit of a leg kick. I don't remember John having that when he first came up. Maybe something he worked on in the cage with the Astros hitting coaches. See if that leads to getting the barrel on it a little more often.
Hangs out the rope, but fouled down the right field side. That had some continuance on it. That just kept on going. You ever heard that word used with a line drive?
No.
Can't say that I have either.
You're some kind of special.
I don't know about that. I don't know where that came from, but
hey, instincts.
Hoping we can use words like that tomorrow. Drive to left field. This one's deep, back at the wall. back there to make the play is the left fielder, right up against the wall. Murphy makes it, and the first out of the inning. So nice at bat there by John Singleton.
Exactly right. That could be a sign of things to come if you want to see what John Singleton's done in the past down in the minor leagues, going the other way. He's got popped to all fields, but in a 2-strike count, put a pretty healthy swing on it.
I'll bring up Alex Presley. Hit .308 in the minor leagues this year. Bided his time, got the job done. Started adding up a lot of talent on the big league club, and this guy can play the game. But sometimes you just simply have to wait your turn. Made the opening day roster for the Astros last year. Well, that's a good looking changeup. Two right-handers with good changes. And Presley called up because of the injury to George Springer. That figures to take probably close to a couple of months for George. Ground ball right side. Kipnis is there. He'll throw on to Santana. Second out here in the third. Bases empty for Jose Altuve.
We'll take a chance to look at our Super Bowl right now, brought to you by Mattress Firm. 3 punch outs on the day for Corey Kluber, and they're all in the breaking ball. You can see how he gets on top of that, but really drives down that ball coming out of the backside of his hand, biting sharply down. Really hasn't thrown it until he's gotten to that 2-strike count, using the fastball and cutter to get ahead early.
Jose Altuve with a 14-game hitting streak. In last night's game went 2 for 4, scored a run, had a double, drove in a run, and drew a walk. Gets one on a couple of hops to third base with Urshela drawn in. And quickly 3 outs in the third inning. 1, 2, 3 they go. That's 8 in a row retired by Corey Kluber.
Play Let's Name That Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Played for the Colt 45s and Astros. Scored the first run in Houston history. I'm guessing that Al Spangler drove him in. Born in Brooklyn, drafted and played for the Dodgers. Last Brooklyn Dodger to retire.
Really? Boy, you have a clue on that one?
Absolutely not.
I'm getting hung up with the image there. 1-0 Indians as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Top of the order, Jason Kipnis leads off. Tempted to check in on the internets and find out if I can get a clue on that one.
You want to know that bad, huh?
Which one of the nets should I check in on? 0-2 the count.
Fish.
What the?
You said nets. I said check the fish nets.
Okay.
Might have caught a stat in there that'll give you the answer. Good look at all the war leaders.
Hey, I'm getting a little wet here. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's time to roll the roof over this place.
Figured I'd better glance at you there. Breaking ball, grounded foul.
Oh, I'm still here.
Yeah, a lot of folks are getting up out of their seats right now. You can see the rain coming down.
Katie, bar the door.
All of that is falling on my computer at the moment.
Well, that makes it more effective.
Really? Okay.
Danger, danger.
The Indians with a run in the first inning. RBI double by David Murphy. That's all the scoring at or to this point on the night. Is that the changeup?
Well, that might have been the little slider. 88 miles an hour on that.
Felt like it was almost kind of
downward to it.
fading. If that's the slider, he got on top of that one extremely so. Now, I'm not going to have anything to write on. I'll just throw it in the bathtub here pretty soon. Curveball grounded right side. Altuve makes a nice play. Ball was sharply hit. Out number one here in the bottom of the third.
Take this opportunity to tell everybody we're gamers. We do these games with the windows open. We're in the elements.
We may not be gamers for long.
We're backpedaling right now.
How are you feeling about that?
I'm gonna hide underneath.
Yeah, let's
towels.
I'm keeping my computer right here.
All that matters is we keep it off of the. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, your hair is fine. I mean, it's going to do what it does, and it'll be great in the end. But others of us might have some issues.
Those were large raindrops that came in early.
You know, I need one of these towels to just make this. Well, see, now you've left your monitor vulnerable.
It's
there.
all about sacrificing for the greater good, Ash.
Okay, the greater good has been.
Whoa, what an arm you still have.
Wow. On the backhand side, nothing hurts. 0-2 the count. Francisco Lindor at the plate now. Breeze is picking up. Things go flying.
Making it sound like hurricanes whipping through here.
Hurricane Lucille has just entered the ballpark. Good grief. How are you faring over there?
I don't know if you're taking the brunt of it, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Right into the case of the giggles I just got.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to change this window scenario soon. Strikeout of Lindor. Second strikeout picked up by Velasquez. 2 outs in the third inning. It brings up the 3-hitter, Michael Brantley, the man who got the rally started in the first.
There's some late noise out of the arm of Vince Velasquez. Elevating that fastball and running it at 95. Lindor just could not check his swing. Wow.
Are they coming or going there?
I think they've quit. Can't quit.
That was a poor choice. We've got a nice comeback coming here. 96 on that heater. Velasquez is loose here this evening.
And he's near the zone, too. He's shown good command so far in this game.
That he has. He's allowed 3 hits. 2 of those, though, coming with 2 outs in the first inning. Producing that run. 2 balls and no strikes. I don't think Vince was pleased with that one.
Turbo yacker.
Okay, I'm stealing your towel again here.
Oh, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive, Ash.
I'm counting on you surviving and maybe even being better for all of this when it's all said and done. The 2-0. Whoa. You know, the Indians on 2-0 counts tonight have been letting it fly.
That pitch that got buried in the dirt. See how that was the slider. I like it.
2-1 now on Brantley. High fastball called a strike, evens the count.
I think the entire rainstorm landed in your lap.
See,
your paper is just drenched.
You're all dry over there.
Yeah, what happened?
And I'm carrying used beach towels here.
My goodness. It's interesting. Oh, boy.
Ground ball, first base side. Altuve makes the play. Retreating is John Singleton. It just does get there to make the play. A 1-2-3 third inning. Turned in by Vince Velasquez. And that last out didn't come easily.
Those shifts creating issues, but Singleton making it back.
He's using all parts of the field again. He's getting back to using the middle of the field. That's the guy we saw when he first got called up. It's big for us to get that kind of production out of him now that his playing time is increasing. Preston was actually 4 for 23 coming into last night's game and then getting the 4 knocks last night, his first career 4-hit night on his 25th birthday. And guys, he was off to such a hot start when he was called up. It's impossible to keep that kind of pace up, but you can imagine he probably put a little pressure on himself.
You know what, though? He's also a guy that, when he produces, can be a big addition to this Astros club. He's not just the singles hitter. He drives the baseball to all parts of the field.
Saw that last night. I mean, he's 4 hits, a bomb. He's somebody who can turn a game around in a hurry with that swing.
Tucker has the only hit of the night for Houston. He gets the changeup. I believe that's what that is.
I think it is.
Okay.
We haven't seen too many of them. Get a good look at it. See that ball deep in his hands. You see all the fingers wrapped around it. Normally tells you that could be the circle change.
The 0-2 pitch.
That's that pitch we were talking about earlier in the game when he was in Houston trying to throw that fastball that runs back over the inside corner. But they're trying to figure out Preston Tucker right now.
Keep him guessing. Tucker, Correa, and Gaddis here in the 4th inning. Corey Kluber has been Corey Kluber until this pitch, possibly. Drive to right field, not quite enough. Back short of the warning track. Brandon Moss makes the catch. Good swing by Preston. Comes up a bit shy. Out number 1, it brings up Carlos Correa.
That's a real good swing. We'll go back. There's that changeup, that circle change. See that ball getting towards the outside part of the hand. They will create a circle with their pointer finger and their thumb and then put that baseball deep in their hand and wrap those last 3 fingers around it and try and throw it with the same arm action and arm speed and same release point. But in holding it like that, it takes that velocity off.
Correa takes a strike. Yeah, I heard it explained one time very much the same way. And what was also said was throw it as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Just as hard as you can. Trust your grip.
It's a very good call.
And that's what creates the illusion for the hitter. 1-1 now on Correa. Carlos popped to second base. His first at bat in the first inning. Hitting .301. I think that's a lesson, though, for a lot of pitchers that is either learned late or never learned. The guys that come up with that pitch, it's a great difference maker. But you can imagine when you don't hold the ball the way you want to, you choose another grip. That feeling of command is going to be really elusive. Fastball drilled but foul, first base side. 2-2 the count. Gaddis, Conger, and Marwin Gonzalez have all struck out against Kluber. Offensively, the Astros still lead in home runs. Still lead in stolen bases. 120 long balls now, as they lead the major leagues in that category. Carlos Correa has already been named Rookie of the Month in the American League. Jose Altuve has a 14-game hitting streak. He's attired much like you right now.
Smart kid. It's a game of adjustments. He wants to hang out up there on that top shelf, watch his ball game, and cheer his buddies on. You know, protect the payload.
That's one explanation.
But you got to protect it.
Yeah.
You know, just a little.
Yeah.
Little
you think that applies for all of us?
It's a hair tarp.
Yeah. Two and two on Carlos. Yeah, now 3-2. Boy, he lays off that well.
Not afraid to hit deep in those counts.
You hit a bunch of home runs early in your playing days. We've talked about it. This guy might go on by you at some point. I think he's already slipped by a bit. Chopper back to the mound. Kluber has an easy play. Second out of the inning. The base is empty. Evan Gaddis will come to the plate.
Follow the Astros all season with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. No, I sincerely hope that Carlos Correa surpasses all of my numbers, which wouldn't be a shock to many people.
As long as you leave somebody shocked, you've done your job.
I like that. It's very true.
Live by that motto. That, by the way, was the first 3-ball count for Corey Kluber. Good run on the fastball. It's 0-1.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you got it.
Well, I was just going to say, that was a good run on that fastball. That was what makes Kluber so tough. He's got 2 pitches coming in there virtually at the same velocity. One sinks it a pretty good amount, and the other one, the cutter, cuts in the opposite direction.
Line to center field, second hit of the night for the Astros. A 2-out single will bring up Colby Rasmus. Good at bat. Don't leave it up for the big guy.
It's amazing. He's spread out in that box, down on those legs. Yet his load seems to bring those hands up and allow him to get on top of some of these fastballs he sees up in the zone. Some guys might load with their rotate, but you can see his hands lifted up just a little bit, drive down through the ball, create that backspin.
He does do that. He'll hit some balls that carry so well.
He about knocked Michael Bourne backward on that one.
Gaddis aboard. Colby Rasmus flied to right field as he led off the second inning.
Wow.
Get ready, guys.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, I mean, that cutter inside is extremely tough to keep fair, and if you do, you're going to end up with a couple splinters. So if you decide to go after it, You're going to throw the head at it and turn on it just like Colby did. Not going to make many friends in your dugout, but you didn't break your bat.
I think that's the key at the moment, isn't it? Keep it off your shin, too.
Yeah.
Jose's ready. Changeup. Man. That must have that full illusion for the hitters. Nobody stays on it.
Well, you sped him up with that cutter inside, then come back with a filthy changeup like that. Just not fair.
That's a full bore shift on now for Colby. Well, you see the ball darting all directions from Kluber.
He's a power arm.
I think we'll see Colby try to drop a 2-strike bunt anymore.
Please no.
Drilled but fouled down the right side.
Oh, I didn't get my glove down in time.
You know, I didn't even notice you bringing your glove up here, but thanks for the effort. Stuff is flying. It's not even that windy.
Sorry.
There's value in some commodities, right?
There is. Using these Sour Patch Kids to hold down the papers.
Colby gets just a piece, stays alive.
Pretty good battle. Just foul off those tough ones and hope that he hangs a mistake somewhere in there that you can drive.
I like Colby's approach on the stats. Julia kind of testing the guys back in the spring. I thought that was classic.
He's funny.
You know, I think in that piece, and it's such a good one, you could really see the personality of George Springer. I thought it was perfect. Just away. 2-2 the count.
Good job laying off that. I was kind of curious if it caught the top of that zone, but it may have, but off the plate.
Thought Jake Marisnick also, along with Dallas Keuchel, really great personalities in being asked those questions.
Isn't it great that everybody outside of that 25-man roster has an idea what that is, but guys who play don't?
That's very true. Caught looking is Colby Rasmus. 4th strikeout for Corey Kluber. He allows a hit. The Astros leave him, and we've played 3.5 with the Indians leading 1-0.
Bottom of the 4th inning. This moment in history is brought to you by MD Anderson. Jeff Bagwell ties the then Astros record by driving in 7 in a 10-8 win over Kansas City in a game in which Most every starter had a hit, and 6 of 9 had multiple hits. My goodness. Well, I guess if everybody's getting knocks and they're on base, that's why Baggy's driving in 7. He could make that dome look small.
Yeah, and it was not. The ball got back there, didn't it?
Well, that's what's crazy to me. His numbers are Hall of Fame numbers for me, but imagine if he was playing in Cincinnati, St. Louis, the numbers he would have put up.
How about some of that talent right there to go with Bagwell, Biggio, Luis Gonzalez, Ken Caminiti mixed in. We didn't get to see him, but man, that was a core of some talent, huh?
Absolutely.
Vince Velasquez works, trailing 1-0. 4-5-6 coming up for the Indians. David Murphy leads it off. He has the double that drove in the only run of the game. 2-out double to right field in the first inning. That double was number 10 on the year for Murphy. A lot of 2-0 counts for Velasquez tonight. In most cases, the Indians have swung right there. Murphy taking one.
When you're throwing a fastball 80% of the time, 2-0 counts are not your friend.
Fly ball left field. Tracking it is Presley. Out number 1. I said a lot. That's the 4th 2-0 count. Just in the 4th inning. Brings up the catcher, Yan Gomes. .223 batting average. Gomes flied to center field to end the first inning. Born in Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's 27 years of age. And the first position player ever to come to the big leagues from Brazil.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. He eventually played at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville.
That is some serious recruiting. Ooh.
Ball and a strike.
Good pitch.
Actually went to high school in Miami. So Yan Gomes has been around, but mention some of the numbers that he put up last year. Really good looking player. That injury this year really put a crimp on what I think a lot of folks thought he would do this year. But 21 dingers and a .278 batting average last year. Looked like one of the really bright young catchers in baseball.
Good receiver.
Throws well.
Saw that last night throwing out Jose Altuve.
Yeah, any manager can tell you you've got to have your horses to be able to win. And this was one of the horses for the Indians. Two and two. That fastball had that path that just said it wanted to ride that path right straight into the catcher's mitt. Two hits for the Astros, 3 for the Indians. Breaking ball drilled into right center field. Solid base hit. Gomes is 1 for 2. A 1-out single brings up Brandon Moss.
I don't think Vince, when he looks back at the tape on this pitch right here, he's going to be upset with the location. That was actually a really good pitch.
Watch this swing. Head down on the baseball. Yeah, he's a strong fella. And you can see with the shift on, nobody was on that side of the field. But that ball was raked. Velasquez has picked up 2 strikeouts tonight. One of those, the first, against Brandon Moss, as he stands in 0 for 1 on the night. .231 batting average, just part of the tail. 14 dingers, 46 RBIs. Gomes down at first base has stolen a couple of bases in the big leagues. Not this year. It was a couple of years ago. Nice pitch on the hands.
Threw a good changeup. Get a good look at it right here. That's great arm action. That's what you were saying about that, holding that grip and then just throwing it as hard as you can. That's what you can create.
Hitters swing at that hand arm action. And Velasquez has a good one. No reason that he shouldn't hang on to that pitch throughout his career. And then the high fastball blows on by. Second time that Moss has struck out. Second out of the inning. And now it brings up Carlos Santana.
There's some good life on a firm fastball from Velasquez, but with that changeup in the back of Moss's head, able to beat him up.
Puts you in no man's land a bit for a hitter.
Yeah.
Santana, another one of the guys the Indians have counted on. It just has not panned out this year. Nice breaking ball to start him.
See the rotation on that? Probably a pretty good spin rate on that.
Carlos Santana now 29 years of age. Ground ball is foul outside the bag. And Santana's a switch hitter. When he showed up with the Indians in 2010, he turned a lot of heads. Hit .260 with 6 home runs in just 46 games. The following year had a big one. 35 doubles, 27 dingers. Hitting .239, but with those power numbers, easily accepted. 79 RBIs that year. 1-2 the count. Just in his 6th year in the big leagues has already hit over 100 home runs. He's had 3 years with 20 plus and one other hitting 18. So he's definitely a power source. Fouls it off on the left side.
He doesn't get cheated too often. Kind of reminds me of Victor Martinez, how he kind of gets all coiled up in his swing and then just unloads.
And like Victor Martinez, came up as a catcher. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Had such a good year in 2013. He wound up 15th in the American League MVP voting.
Wow.
And again fouls it. You don't look at a category like this very much, but over his brief career, 6 years, he's been intentionally passed 26 times. So there's been a lot of respect paid to him. Boy, how about a job by Hank Conger?
Man. There's a couple teams in the NHL looking for a guy like that.
Amen. This wasn't going to find the 5-hole, but it wasn't getting by Mr. Conger at all. Two and two the count. Got him. Fastball. Santana gets a piece. Conger hangs on. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 4 on the night for Velasquez. We played 4 innings. It's 1-0 Cleveland.
17th. It kicks off at 4:30 p.m. and features a beer tasting, live music, and a souvenir Astros pint glass for the first 500 fans with an event ticket. For more info, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/baseball on tap. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. That's one of the new areas, I believe, here at the ballpark in Cleveland, right down the right field corner. And they are apparently having a pretty good time in there with their Indians on top 1-0. Had some rainfall. We had quite a bit of rain early in the evening. Looked like this game wasn't going to start, if at all, until about 9:30 or 10. But we found a nice window. Here's a foul ball just above us. Hank Conger caught looking in the second inning. One of 4 strikeouts on the night by Corey Kluber. Marwin Gonzalez follows, and then John Singleton. 5th inning. So with the Indians on top 1-0, what you've got to do to make this an official game for sure is get through this half inning. The Astros would love to change that around and jump on top. Corey Kluber, no doubt, has other thoughts. Changeup stays high, 2-1 the count. Julia was talking about and with Dallas Keuchel earlier and his bid to the All-Star game now, and very deserved. And I think a lot of us obviously would love to see him get the start in the All-Star game. Ball kicks right out of the glove of Yan Gomes. 2-2 the count. I think, and see if you agree, Blummer, that with Dallas getting the most player votes to go into that game as a pitcher, does that lead to him maybe having the skipper say, okay, look, you're the guy most respected by the players in the league, let's go ahead and start you?
It's actually not a bad call. He's got the credentials. Obviously, we saw him earlier, but I like that thought process.
I would see as a manager how you might play that way. At the same time, if you're the manager of the Kansas City Royals, the team that went into the World Series last year, and now you're the manager of the All-Star game, as Hank Conger jogs on down to first base, drawing the leadoff walk in the 5th inning, might you be influenced by the fact that you manage in the American League Central, and you've got David Price, the veteran, coming from the Tigers, and I don't know how all that plays out for a skipper.
AL All-Star game final vote candidates. Some nice additions there, and of course, a Kansas City Royals guy is in there. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's going to get some votes.
I think you and I both loved what we saw from Xander Bogaerts.
Oh, I was really impressed. It's the first time I've actually had a chance to see him play for an extended amount of time. I was real impressed.
Yeah, we all wish Dallas well in that bid to maybe be the starting pitcher. He seemed to play it down like it's not that big of a thing, but I think it's a great honor if it does come that way.
He's earned it.
First Astros pitcher now to make that All-Star squad since Roy Oswalt in 2007. It's also the first start this year for Jose Altuve. Yeah, if you voted guys in that are that bench player deluxe, I think Marwin would get some votes coming his way.
Brock Holt.
Oh boy.
How about that for a utility guy? And they actually, I think Ned Yost had mentioned that. That had a lot to do with why he's in there.
Guy out of Rice University. Fly ball shallow in center field. It's the shortstop calling and waving everybody off. Lindor makes the catch. First out in the 5th. That'll bring up John Singleton.
But I think there should be a special spot on that, on both rosters, for that utility type guy that goes out there on a daily basis, plugs some holes around the infield or outfield when ball clubs need it due to injury. But we've seen it a couple times where some guys have had to play out of position in All-Star games. Why not have that guy on your bench that you can plug in anywhere and not worry about how he's going to do over there?
It's actually a good thought, and some guys get kind of pigeonholed into being utility players, and it's hard to come out of there once you're put in that spot. You do a great job. That's your role. And if you're among the very best, maybe there should be one spot on the club that makes it from that position.
I am all for it.
John Singleton lined one to left field deep back at the wall as he flew out in the 3rd inning. By the way, Jose Altuve, the first Astro starter via the fan vote since Lance Berkman did it, that in 2008. So that's also a huge congratulations to Jose. Ball and a strike. Where's Jose, the reigning batting champ? And I think that deserves a whole lot of consideration.
Well, I wonder how much his size and personality go into the fans voting him into that starting role too, because he's somebody that everybody on the planet can vote for. I mean, root for.
Yeah.
Just because he's a great individual. He's got supreme talent at the dish.
Big swing by John, comes up empty. Do you think if George Springer had not gotten injured and kept playing well, that he might have been considered for that team?
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind.
One out here in the 5th inning, 1-0 Indians.
But what a great thing to have it would be if Dallas got to start that game. 2 Astros starters on a first place team.
Yeah, that would be really nice and deserving too.
Yeah.
And that is not at all to say that there aren't other pitchers that deserve that chance to be the opening pitcher for the American League. Chris Sale, certainly another one.
Well, Chris Archer, David Price, I mean, these guys, you're really not going to go wrong with anybody that you have.
You know, I mentioned that American League Central with obviously the teams that play there. I mentioned the Tigers. Chris Sale from Chicago, the White Sox. I don't know that anybody deserves more consideration than him. Half swing. They appeal and the fist goes up. That'll be a strikeout of Singleton. That's 5 now for Kluber. 2 down in the 5th inning. And the 9-hitter Alex Presley comes to the plate.
Another curveball, another strikeout. That was a full body check swing from John Singleton. It's almost looked like that time where you say, I'm going to get a breaking ball right here. You recognize it out of the hand, but you just swing before you actually see it.
Presley grounded to second. That in the 3rd inning. Yeah, I wonder if you polled American League hitters and said, what starter in the league has the filthiest stuff? What answer you might get. This pitch might be considered.
Holds it on the bottom of that horseshoe and yanks it.
A lot of guys try to get the 4 large seams to roll over to create maybe the biggest curveball they can get. Two-0 the count on Presley. Alex is 2 for 9 now since joining the team. By the way, it's also the first year for the Astros that they'll have 2 All-Stars since 2009. Hunter Pence and your buddy Miguel Tejada.
Miggy. Talk about somebody who loved coming to the ballpark. Both those guys. Hunter Pence and Miguel Tejada.
Genuine gamers.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
162 games straight.
Line shot. That's a knock. Hit number 3 for Houston. Stopping at second is Hank Conger. So the Astros have a pair aboard for the first time tonight as Jose Altuve comes to the plate.
It's a good time for some 2-out lighting from the Astros. Presley doing a good job on this fastball up in the zone. Up and out of the zone. Able to get on top of it and line it into center field. Now you've got the top of the lineup coming up, and Altuve's got good numbers with runners in scoring position.
0 for 2 on the night is Jose Altuve. Saw something there from Alex Presley, looking around to the outfield, checking out where guys are playing, recognizing the arms. You're always trying to be aware as a base runner. Altuve 0 for 2. That heater sails up and in.
Kluber's fallen behind in a couple of these counts in this inning, making him labor a little bit. Altuve hitting .346 with runners in scoring position, and with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, he's hitting .250. Still a good number.
2 hits last night, easily picked up the 14th of that 14-game hitting streak. It's 1-1 on Jose.
Kluber has been behind on all 5 batters this inning.
That 14-game hitting streak by Altuve matches his career high set last year. Oh, he'd love to fly on by that mark. Takes another strike, so it's 1-2. Well, that's rare. 2 innings back to back now. Over 20 pitches for Kluber. This is certainly one of those guys you'd like to get out of the game as early as possible. Ground ball to third. And going to the bag for the out is Urshela, and that'll do it. So Altuve comes to the plate with a pair of board and can't come through. Book your low fare right now at southwest.com. And brought to you by Jack in the Box. Try the new Double Jack today, only at Jack in the Box. It's a cuddly night. Been wet, it's gotten a little chilly. And the Astros looking for their first run of the night. We played 4.5. The Indians lead it 1-0. Hardy fans here in Cleveland. Not sure who they're rooting for. Now you can see it's not only been wet, but it's gotten chilly.
He's cheering for Barney.
With the purple, yeah.
It's a joy of fatherhood right there, knowing all those shows.
Yeah, if I tried to chime in and say, yeah, it's been very recently for me, I'm not sure many would buy into that. Giovanni Urshela rather leads it off. Popcorn, I mean cotton candy, where's that been?
Man, that's what I'm talking about.
Selfie time. Fastball blown by. 1-1 the count. Urshela 0 for 1 on the night. That's precious.
Good times.
Sticky can make me insane, but children, they couldn't care less. 1-2 the count.
As a kid, you just don't have the concept yet. You just know that it tastes good and it's going to make you freak out in about a half an hour.
Kids are aware of that second half?
Oh, man, are they?
Yeah?
I swear my girls know.
I thought it was the parents who were the only folks who were aware of that point.
My daughters know full well.
Hit in the air down the right field side. Tucker coming on into foul territory. He'll make the catch. And out number 1 here in the 5th inning. Oh, quite a matchup of right-handers this evening.
Really is. Vince Velasquez stepping up. But again, we really shouldn't be shocked. Nothing to take away from Vince Velasquez and what he's doing, but the Cleveland Indians offense doesn't really pick up Corey Kluber. We see the numbers for Corey, fantastic on the year. The win-loss record at 3-9 makes you wonder what's going on, and it's the runs per game in support. It was at 2.43 coming into this game and dropping.
I think I said 6 consecutive starts for Kluber without a W. So he's no doubt feeling it. Make that 7 in a row for Kluber without a win. That fastball had some run on it. 1 ball and 1 strike. 9-hitter Michael Bourne at the plate. Former Houston Astro. Did you say you played with Bourne?
Yes. Good guy. Good ball player. Really turned the corner second year as an Astro when he started hitting the ball on the ground the other way.
In the air to left center field. Long run for Rasmus. And what a running grab. Just as he got to the warning track. That is some kind of play in center.
Those might be the toughest because you get kind of caught in between. Do I lay out for this or do I just continue to run? But how about Colby Rasmus getting a good jump, running to that spot, not giving up on it. Then at the last second throwing the leather out there to snag it. It was a great play.
Now we've talked about the 3 center fielders the Astros have. Of course, George Springer now is on the DL. But Colby Rasmus and Jake Marisnick can really go. And Jake Marisnick, I don't know, might be as good as anybody in the league right now.
Well, there'd be a lot of people saying that. A couple of them up there in Boston also.
But you'd hate to slight Colby Rasmus. That was some kind of play. Just a little deeper into his career. Jason Kipnis has grounded out to Altuve twice tonight. LA Angels are in Colorado. It's 4-0 Angels on top. They just keep on winning. They're just in the 2nd inning. They got 3 runs in the first as Albert Pujols slammed another home run. His 26th of the year to lead the American League. How about that figure?
That is pretty good. He's actually declared that he is going to be in the home run derby.
Good for him.
Over the All-Star break. Yeah, I agree. Probably put on a show in Cincinnati. Place is a great place to hit home runs. That's his 546th career home run. 2 shy of Mike Schmidt.
Wow.
Yeah. Starting to encroach on some big names, but he's also helping those Angels in that AL West standing. Just quietly lingering behind the Astros.
2-out walk to the leadoff man. Kipnis brings up Francisco Lindor, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. You know, last year was not a bad year at all for Albert Pujols. 28 dingers, 105 RBIs, but already 26 home runs and just past the midway point.
A lot of Angel fans are saying that's the money that we're spending to see in return.
He's got a chance for the first time in his career to hit 50+ home runs.
How about that?
And how about JD Martinez?
Can write Valbuena's name underneath those 2 guys that are tied for 20.
Nelson Cruz got off to a very fast start with the long balls and everything this year. He's slowed down, but 21 dingers, nothing to be ashamed about right now. Kipnis aboard, 2 outs. Lindor hitting .210. Not much power, 1 home run, but that's come in 21 games.
Kind of curious if Kipnis is going to take off here with 2 outs. Look back at that last pitch. Thought it was a pretty good spot.
Boy, that is a pure strike right there.
I mean, that caught a lot of plate.
Kipnis has 10 stolen bases, caught 5 times though. Popped up shallow into center field just a bit, and now back on the infield with that wind blowing. Altuve eventually makes the play and takes a seat in the process. For the Indians, they fail in the 5th but lead it 1-0.
The Astros in the top of the 6th. Join the Astros at Minute Maid Park on Saturday, July 18th for 80s night. The team will be wearing throwback uniforms, and 10,000 fans will receive a Nolan Ryan replica rainbow jersey presented by Nolan Ryan Beef. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. You know what we need to get is throwback replica rainbow jersey ties.
Oh, that would be nice.
That would actually be pretty slick, huh?
Could wear those while eating the Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, blend right in. You could just perfect. A couple of them, just fall out. You never know.
Green, you might have to throw green away. But yeah, otherwise really good. Preston Tucker is 1 for 2. Has one of the 3 Houston hits. Corey Kluber has been quite stingy. He's struck out 5. Preston Tucker is swinging it very well. Kluber just changes the speeds and the direction of the run.
It's a nasty pitch. Good movement.
Breaking ball rammed to right center field. That's in the gap, but not for long as Michael Bourne runs it down. And the first down in the 6th inning, and that's a huge one for Kluber.
Yeah, that could have been a leadoff extra base hit for Preston Tucker. Been swinging the bat extremely well. Got a hanging cutter, it looked like, but Michael Bourne, a little bit of retribution for what happened to him earlier when Colby Rasmus ran down his fly ball.
Look where that ball started in the gap, and the ground made up by Bourne.
He is quick.
Tell you what, you get your leadoff double at the very least right there. And a great shot for the Astros to get even in this game. Instead, one huge out as Carlos Correa comes to the plate. Carlos tries to make something happen
Jack in the Box is going to take us inside the box score. Talked about working that inner third on Carlos Correa. You can see the numbers pretty good. How about down and away, up and away? Those are ridiculous numbers. Over 600.
Ground ball up the middle. That's going to be tough. Laying out is Lindor. His throw, and not in time. Ooh, that was close. Carlos Correa, for the moment, has an infield single with one out.
Yeah, there's going to be somebody upstairs looking at this, trying to see. Credit Correa for hustling down that line, but Lindor making a great play up and in. It's usually where Correa likes him.
You hear the crowd?
I did. They think it's an out. We get to see it. That was a heck of a pick by Santana, too. As much as I like Carlos, I think he's going to go back to the dugout.
Yeah, I think that one's going to change. That was my feeling watching the play with the naked eye. You really can't see it here from this distance, but the umpires are huddled behind home plate, and I think when they come out of that huddle, we're going to have the second out of the inning.
It's got to be tough for first base umpire when a ball is short hopped like that. You're going to usually you're trying to listen for the sound of the ball in the glove and the foot hitting the base, but when the ball short hops, you hear ball on dirt.
Three sounds, yeah.
Ball on dirt, then glove, then base. And that seemed to be the order. What a phenomenal play from Lindor.
It is an out. So the hit is taken away from Correa. 2 down in the 6th inning. And Carlos acted like a guy who might have known that was coming.
Well, the Indians' offense is not picking up Kluber, but the defense is sure helping them out in this inning.
What a difference there could have been without a couple of great plays in the inning. 2 outs for Evan Gattis. Bases empty. Takes a strike. By the way, moments ago we were talking about Albert Pujols and the home runs, number 26 tonight. First time possible this year that he could go over 50 home runs. His high water mark, 2006 with the Cardinals, he had 49. So I would imagine he's got his sights on trying to hit 50 for the first time.
Gosh, it's a big home run number.
546 career home runs.
That's a big home run number.
Insane, huh?
Ooh.
Then you start talking about Mike Schmidt. Line shot to center field. What an inning that could have been. Second hit for Gattis. 4th for the Astros.
It seems like sometimes that Evan Gattis is really mad at the baseball.
Stays through it well, doesn't he?
Man, just jumps off his bat. That's what Santana's asking. Why are you so mad? Take it out on that baseball.
What is the usual conversation down at first base?
Wow, really good swing. Unless you know the guy, then it gets a little more in depth.
Rasmus fouls it back. Colby's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. He's made a gem defensively tonight. Like Michael Bourne's play into right center field on the line shot by Preston Tucker. Colby raced into left center field going back to the track and made a great play. Yeah, you never know how an inning plays out, but this inning had a chance. Kluber tried to come in, and Colby very quick with the head of the bat.
Pretty nice play.
The Astros start the night leading over the Angels. 3.5 games. Angels lead over Colorado early on 4-0. In fact, it's 8-0 Angels now, bottom of the second inning. So Angels are having it their way very quickly in Colorado.
Yeah, that escalated quickly.
Matt Joyce is homered, his 5th. We mentioned Pujols, number 26. Mike Trout, number 22. Guys love some thin air, apparently. Rasmus down on strikes. That'll do it for the Astros. That's strikeout number 6 for Corey Kluber. Astros leave a man, trail it 1-0.
Astros win, you win. Every time the Astros win on a Tuesday, you get 50% off your pizza order on Wednesday at Papa John's. Use promo code Astros at papajohns.com. Hey, guess what? I found a new spot to sit at this ballpark. It's the Dugout Suites. It's a great view. And I found some Astros fans, of course. Here in Cleveland, there's Astros fans. This is Leo. This is Tom from the Katy area. Humble. Leo, what are you guys doing here?
Leo Villarreal, Houston, Humble, Texas.
What are you guys doing here?
We're here with one of our vendors has got us down here for some baseball and some golf tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to Firestone and play some golf.
What about these seats right here?
Oh, these are wonderful. Right here, right behind home plate, we get to tell the umpire how bad he is.
You're obviously a big Astros fan. So what do you think of the season so far? What do you think of the season so far?
Oh, wonderful season. This is just the greatest ever. These guys are on the way. We're going to be in a series.
Drive to right field, one pitch, and the Indians add another run. Michael Brantley goes yard. That's number 5 on the year as Brantley circles the bags. 2-0 Cleveland.
He got lucky. He just got lucky, that's all.
These guys are going to let you have it. You know that, right?
Do what? I didn't hear.
They're letting you have it back here.
Oh, they are. That's all right. Hey, the Astros are going to be fine. Believe me, they're going to be fine. These guys are looking really good. Future's wonderful. I'm thinking World Series here pretty quick, guys.
Leo's calling it. You guys enjoy your seats. Guys, I'm going to sit it up to you in the booth.
Thanks and enjoy, guys. David Murphy, the cleanup man at the plate. So 2-0 Cleveland. So we've got some nasty looking clouds overhead. Getting dark, it's becoming difficult to tell what is above, but we've seen some foul looking stuff coming our way. Murphy had an RBI double in the first inning. So he drove in the other Cleveland run. That happened early. Velasquez has been really good, but Corey Kluber has been locked down. 3-1 the count. Velasquez has walked one. That was Kipnis with 2 outs in the 5th inning. You have to say, though, this has been an impressive performance by Vince Velasquez.
I think he's been pitching well. It's just tough how the rotation lines up sometimes. You go up against a guy like Corey Kluber in his home park.
Second walk, Murphy aboard for Yan Gomes. I would imagine Brent Strom, despite the walk right there and the home run to start the inning, has to feel like, boy, this young man is picking it up quickly and could fit in very nicely.
No, you want to see guys make adjustments, and I think Vince Velasquez, compared to the first 3 starts, the last 3 starts, has shown improvement. We had heard a lot about the fastball. It was a little erratic early on, but those last 3 starts, he's done a good job starting guys off with fastballs in the strike zone.
Ground ball back to the mound. Could be 2. On to Altuve and back to Singleton. They get the double play. 1-4-3. So Murphy erased 2 down in the inning. And now Brandon Moss comes to the plate with the bases empty.
Well, how about the first pitch breaking ball? Good pitch by Vince Velasquez, keeping his composure after a home run and a walk.
How about the PFP?
Yeah, player position too, not bad. You know, and again, if he does come out of this game in this inning, which we assume he will get through this, get that quality start, but you know, if you go 6 strong and give up 2 earned runs, you figure you'd finally get that W.
Brandon Moss has struck out twice. Yeah, the assignment for a starting pitcher is not the same as it was 30+ years ago, where you tried to go 9 innings. But now it's go as deep as you can, as best as possible. And quality starts. I don't know if everybody in the game agrees that 6 and 3, the way they have it set up, is the best figure. But as it stands, you go 6 and allow less than 3 runs, or 3 or less, and you've done a real nice job for your club. That double play, the first turned on the night by either team. One and 2 now on Moss. Velasquez trying to get through this 6th. Good fastball up and in. 3rd time he strikes out Brandon Moss. That'll do it for the Indians. But they get a run on the home run by Michael Brantley. And after 5.5, lead it 2-0.
pitching matchup presented by Chevron. Care for your car. Dan Straley getting a second shot at trying to get into that 5th position in that rotation for the Houston Astros. Got roughed up a little bit out there in Boston, but so did a lot of other pitchers in that Astros uniform. Going up against Trevor Bauer, drafted by the Diamondbacks, traded to the Indians. He's got about 7 pitches that he can come at you with. One of the more unique pitchers in all of baseball.
Down 2-0 now. The Astros have more work to do. Had a chance in the 6th inning, but defense by the Indians have kept Kluber with a shutout performance. Hank Conger is 0 for 1. Struck out looking and drawn a walk. He's the only base runner for Houston tonight to get as far as second base. He walked to start the 5th inning with 2 outs. Alex Presley had a base hit to center field, so runners were at first and second. 2 down for Jose Altuve, but he grounded to third into a fielder's choice. And now the Indians get righty and lefty up. That righty McAllister, we saw him last night. Two and 1 the count. 90. Is that number 92 or 93? Guess it's 92. They get 102. So the end of the night is near for Corey Kluber. Nice little backdoor job. It's 2-2. Just to mention Dallas Keuchel once again last night picking up the W. His 11th on the year. Dallas Keuchel 11-3. Little tapper towards shortstop. This is going to be tough. Lindor with the play and not in time. And I think that one's going to stand. That shift bites the Indians on that ground ball. Make that Urshela with the play on the left side.
Yeah, we've seen some shifts that are that drastic. They'll move the third baseman to the right side of the infield and keep the shortstop at short, possibly for situations like this. This is a tough play for a natural third baseman to come charging in this far and throwing against their body. But again, base hits not easy to come by for Houston Astros, and Conger legging it out.
That is a painful hit, apparently.
I don't know if that's painful or if he's sucking wind.
Grinding hard down the line. Leadoff single brings up Marwin Gonzalez. He struck out and popped out. Now we're in the 7th inning. Of course, the Astros have had a lot of success this year from the 7th on. Infield shallows up for the double play. Watch her shallow one more time on this play.
Just a long way to go.
Scoreboard's all even in the hits column. 5 for each club. The Astros without an extra base hit, though, and the Indians have a pair, each of them driving in runs. The double by David Murphy with 2 outs in the 1st, and the home run leading off by Michael Brantley in the 6th inning. Extra base hits do tend to pay off. Marwin came very close earlier in the game to picking up an extra base hit, lining one down the right field side, just missing the line.
All the breaks they were getting yesterday, they're not getting today. Good defensive plays, Michael Bourne and Lindor. And like you said, that foul ball just barely foul.
Nice job getting a piece. Continues to force Kluber to work.
Well, you'd think it was April 1st.
It's gotten chilly. I don't know if it's, well, we'd have to ask Julie if it's gotten that chilly. In that case, I guess the answer would be yes.
Yeah, we all know that instant answer.
Again, fouling it off Marwin Gonzalez. Last time out for Kluber, 115 pitches. He went 8 innings at Tampa Bay. Took a no decision. Got a chance to get to that figure and beyond. The Indians have lost 3 straight, so the wins have been hard to come by for this club. They had won 5 straight before the 3 consecutive losses. Hasn't been easy for Terry Francona. Apparently not easy for them either, but they're braving it out.
Say they're hanging on.
They're going to hang on with Sloopy, apparently.
That's what they do here. That's a good one.
That's Julia's favorite song, I think, isn't it? Little tapper back toward the mound. Kluber makes a nice play and gets the lead out. That's all they'll get as they get Conger at second base. Not a great throw, but good enough to get the out.
That was a pretty good play by Kluber. That ball gets by him. Who knows what happens? Might turn into an infield hit for Marwin Gonzalez, but did a good job of picking that backhand short hop.
No hesitation on that throw at all. 1 out, runner at first base. That's Marwin Gonzalez. Yeah, you'd have to say really nice by Kluber, and Lindor helps at second base there to pick up an out. This is the pitching coach, Mickey Callaway, out there. Left-handed bat of John Singleton at the plate.
111 pitches for Kluber. No stranger to throwing a lot of pitches and going deep into ball games. 235 and a third innings, I think, last year.
So Kluber stays on. John Singleton hit one hard for an out to left field in the 3rd inning and then struck out in the 5th. That 115 pitches last time out by Kluber, the most he's thrown this year. He's also been to 113 and right around that figure, a couple of times 112. Half swing on the high heater.
See that 113 pitch game against St. Louis where he struck out 18. It's not bad.
5 times he's been in double digits with strikeouts. Go right back to his 2nd outing of the year. That against the Tigers, he got 10. Make that 6 times he's gone double digits. They've called, I believe, a balk. Yeah, the home plate umpire comes out, Dana DeMuth, and calls the balk. That'll send Marwin down to second base. Terry Francona wants to know what went on.
Well, I think what he's asking is, did Corey Kluber step off before he tried to make a move for the pickoff? Dana DeMuth's explanation enough to send Tito back. We get a second chance to look at it. Watch the right foot.
Oh, he came up with the hands.
Yep, moved first before that foot came off.
Yep. Can't move anything prior to that right foot coming off the pitcher's rubber there. So that's a legitimate balk. Marwin in scoring position. Singleton with an 0-1 count. That kind of almost has that feel of a late September game, maybe an April game.
Get that playoff weather going.
The Indians are last in the American League in attendance, and tonight's not going to help them. Fastball at 93. It's 1-2.
And that might have been the pitch to hit in this at bat. Good fastball away where John could get extended on it. Just missed it.
The Indians lead the all-time series 21-15 against Houston. Last year the Tribe took 5 of 7. 2013 6 of 7. Big strikeout, second out here in the 7th inning, and now the 9-hitter Alex Presley comes to the plate.
Looking for games on certain days of the week with giveaways, favorite rivalries, or maybe a little of each. With the Astros 14-game flex plan, you get to pick the games and seat locations that work best for you. Purchase your 14-game flex plan today by visiting astros.com/tickets or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Presley owns one of the Houston hits tonight. Had a single in the 5th inning, lining one to center field. Backdoor cutter stays away. You know, we were talking about Jeff Bagwell in that club record 7 RBI game he had on this date, 1982. Don Sutton, as an Astro, picked up his 250th career win on his way to the Hall of Fame. 2-0. It gets away from the catcher Gomes. It'll be a pass ball likely, as now into third base is Marwin Gonzalez. But 2 outs here in the 7th inning. It is a pass ball. So we've had a balk and now a pass ball.
A little too much cut. Man, if you're the Astros, if you could sneak this run across, cut that lead in half, that would be huge, because you would have got to imagine this is Kluber's last inning. Although the Indian bullpen is not too shabby this year either.
Still from the stretch. Kluber brings the 2-0. It's now 3-0. Jose Altuve waits on deck. And Altuve still hungry for that first hit of the night. Green light for Presley. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. It's ball 4. That's the first. Make that second walk by Kluber, and that's going to do it. Terry Francona's coming out. Though with that pitch count at 119 now, Francona says that's enough. He will go to his bullpen as Altuve will come to the plate. Runners at first and third, and the Astros trailing it 2-0 here in the 7th.
Astros. Check out the Indians' pitching race. Overall ERA at 3.95, ranking 9th. The bullpen is doing extremely well at 3.12. Some of those flamethrowers that they've got. Strikeouts are high, first in the American League. They're giving up some home runs. Right now we've got AT&T call that bullpen for the Cleveland Indians. It's going to be Zach McAllister.
31 games on the year for McAllister. One as a starter. This guy has been primarily a starter in the past, but now having more success as a reliever. 41 innings, allowing 43 hits. ERA at 3.07. Right-handers hitting 287, and it just so happens that Jose Altuve continues to swing from the right side of the plate. A couple of runners aboard, and the Astros with a legitimate chance to put something on the board here in the 7th.
Better get on that fastball. McAllister throwing around 95 miles an hour. A little bit of a cutter, curveball, and splitter.
Drops it down to 90 on this one. Altuve looking for that first hit of the night. Jose's been taking some strikes the last couple of at-bats. McAllister pitched one scoreless inning last night, a couple of strikeouts. Fouls one and has the count at 1-2. Jose doesn't have huge career numbers against the Indians. He's a .272 lifetime hitter. Does have a home run, 3 doubles, a couple of triples. In his 22nd game lifetime against Cleveland. Find a gap right here. That's what AJ's hoping for. Stays alive.
98 miles an hour. That explains why Altuve sliced that one foul. Pretty good heat. A little mustard on that. Well, I mean,
I actually couldn't see the baseball, but I think you're right. One and two on Jose. Runner goes from first, pitch in the dirt. So the Astros, or rather the strikeout on Altuve. Couple of punch outs in the inning. McAllister comes on, gets the job done. Still 2-0 Indians.
time to name that Astro. Brought to you by your local Honda dealer. There's some of the clues that we have. Born in Brooklyn, drafted and played for the Dodgers.
Am I allowed to offer a guess?
Out there.
I would make my guess at Bob Aspromonte. One of the really outstanding players. It is Aspro.
That is a phenomenal guess.
Well, I don't know if that really was, but yeah, Aspro was a heck of a player, and his brother played the big leagues. Ken Aspromonte, also a major league manager.
That's some good Twitter responses on that. Some people are on the ball when we play this game. Name that Astro. There's that old lid with the jersey you may have worn, Ash. Mixing it up a little bit.
Oh, definitely wore that. Never wore that lid, though. Indians lead it 2-0. To the bottom of the 7th inning we go. And Vince Velasquez still out there.
Any chance AJ's trying to throw him back out there to have him get through this inning and maybe the Astros explode for 3 runs and get that W for the young man?
Yeah, that's intriguing.
Poor kid's gone without a decision for 5 straight.
Would you alter your way of thinking because of that?
I'm not too sure. Or maybe he's pitching so well, even at 98 pitches, that you keep putting him out there.
He is pitching well. And we've talked about that inability to get a decision. He's not the only guy that's done that. Pitch fouled back. Hideo Nomo's on a list of 3 others that went out there their first 5 career starts with no decision. Nomo did it in 1995. He was a pretty darn good one. Mark Valdez and Chris Brock, the other 2. No pitcher has started their first 6 career games without a decision. Velasquez, if this offense can't get anything going tonight, is in danger of his first decision. But a really good outing.
Sure is.
First inning run on a double by David Murphy, a 6th inning run, home run by Michael Brantley. That's been it. Carlos Santana has one of the 5 Cleveland hits. 1 for 2 on his night. By the way, Jose Altuve trying to pick up that 15th game in terms of hitting streak. 0 for 4 on the night. Line drive right field. That's a solid hit in the gap. Cut off by Tucker. He'll hold it to a single. Second hit for Santana. It comes leading off the 7th inning and brings up the 8-hitter Giovanni Urshela. Little focus back on the Angels, who now are in the 3rd inning in Colorado, and the Angels lead the Rockies 10-0.
Mercy.
Pujols and Trout among others with home runs tonight. Ground ball to 3rd. Top play. Marwin throws to 1st, and a perfect throw on the run. How about that, Jim? And now A.J. Hinch is coming out. Take a look at this play, and that is not easy at all.
Sure made it look easy. All in about 1, maybe 2 steps. Watch him when he catches this backhand on the short on 1, 2, and he's getting rid of that pretty quick and on the money.
You know, he's got a really good throwing arm. 1 out. That does it for Vince Velasquez. A.J. Hinch goes to the bullpen. Astros down 2-0. Sipp, 31-year-old left-hander, comes on now. It's his 34th appearance on the year. Numbers are pretty good. 3.26 the ERA. He's been roughed up a bit recently. Left-handers hitting just .216 against him, and he will face Michael Bourne to start things here. One out with a man aboard.
We got time now for the what a burger, what a play. Earlier in the ball game, ex-Astros center fielder Michael Bourne making a bid for a double or extra bases hit in that left center field gap. But Colby Rasmus, the current Astro center fielder, chasing that one down, making a great play to pick up his pitcher. But Michael Bourne had a chance to return the favor to Preston Tucker, ranging far to his left in that right center field gap. Good closing speed and makes that grab. Picking up his pitcher, Corey Kluber. So some good defense behind both pitchers tonight in center field.
So Sipp comes on to face the left-handed bat. Jason Kipnis is on deck. He also bats left-handed. Little half swing going through is Michael Bourne. Bourne's been dealt with very roughly tonight. A couple of line drives, a couple of great plays against him. One of those really just kind of a tough play by Preston Tucker in right field on the line shot. 1-1. Good looking breaking ball. Tony Sipp, of course, now in his second year with the Astros. Put up some rather phenomenal numbers last year. 50 innings, allowed just 28 hits. 2-1.
Pretty close pitches. Michael Bourne doing a good job of laying off.
Also laying off, home plate umpire Dana Demuth. And now taking a strike. It's 2-2 on Bourne. Tony Sipp in his 7th year in the big leagues. Brings the heat, gets the pop-up on the left side. Carlos Correa calling, but now getting there quickly. Alex Presley to make the play. Boy, that's darting in and over the line extremely quickly. 2 outs for Jason Kipnis.
You get him looking on the edges, just trick him with the one right down the middle. Sometimes it works out.
Alex Presley is deceivingly fast. Plays a good outfield. He's been a good player.
I think they got him lined up.
You can see maybe why he was able to get that ball so quickly.
I think that's what surprised Correa. Correa probably figured that he was the only one that's going to be over there, but Presley had a good jump on it.
Tony Sipp trying to keep it right here. 2-0 Cleveland. Here's that starter breaking ball for the strike. This guy's having himself a year. Line drive, but right there is Colby Rasmus, and that'll do it. So Sipp comes on, gets the 2 left-handed bats, Bourne and Kipnis, holds it at 2-0 Cleveland.
helps us get to know Alan Ashby. Look at that picture. He was drafted and debuted with the Cleveland Indians. Second all-time in no-hitters caught. Those were all with Houston Astros, and then led the National League pitchers 3 times. In range factor, his nickname was Buns.
I thought it was guns, but
dropping bombs right there, Ash.
Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, don't do it too many times. People start to expect it.
Oh, you had some sneaky pop.
Get up, darling. Deceiving speed too. I was a lot slower than I looked.
That's great.
Where'd you compile all this from?
This is beautiful. Just dropping lasers all over the place. Get on your horse, Ash. That was a triple, right?
Lost my horse early on in the career. Hey, thanks, guy. That was kind of fun. Not the hitting part, just seeing that I had some hair. That was really cool.
I thought you were going to brag about the nickname.
You know what? I don't know where Julia came up with that, but that actually followed me around for a while, apparently. I don't know.
Must have been a special attribute you had.
I'm going to leave you guessing. 2-0 Cleveland. A 1-1 count on Preston Tucker. Tucker 1 for 3. Boy, he was robbed in the 6th inning, leading off. Drilled one to the gap in right center field. Quite a play by Michael Bourne to get to it. Pops it foul back to the seats. Joe Thatcher, the left-hander, and Roberto Hernandez. Or is that Fausto Carmona, former Indian?
He changes it back for his visits here.
I wonder how that works.
Must be nice to pitch under an alias.
Ground ball left side. That's going to be really tough. Long throw. That's an infield single for Preston Tucker. Well, he is really dealing in it. A lot of what he's doing going the other way.
Seeing the ball pretty good.
Watch how he gets on top of this thing.
Again, we talked about Kipnis and Brantley with that front foot getting down nice and softly, allowing everything else to react, and I think that's what's going on. Front foot gets down soft, your head's moving less, and that enables you to see the ball a little bit longer. See if the Astros can't get something going right here in the 8th inning.
So another shift buster right there, Carlos Correa. No doubt trying to come up with a big swing for the team. 0 for 3 tonight. We already know McAllister can flat bring it. Can you add to the special moments already? Hit high down the left field side. And this one out of reach. Lindor was trying to get to know the tarp a bit.
We're going to get to know more of you.
That moss could get pretty messed up.
You were way ahead of your time with the moss and the mustache.
Yeah, I don't know about ahead of the time, but
you're a trailblazer too, in the sense you got traded to the Blue Jays, first trade they ever made.
Hey, I'm 1,261st all time in hits.
You're singing something. Can you name the 1,260 ahead of you?
I've memorized them, but we don't have enough time on the show. Wow. Just below the knees. It's 2-1. Unlike some in the booth, I'm lacking a statue.
Timing is everything.
Did have a walk-off. In fact, a couple of home runs in the postseason, but
we saw.
Yeah,
I think last year, or maybe earlier in the year, we saw that. I remember seeing the highlights of that. Well, he did well in that '86 series.
Actually hit one right-handed in New York.
Take that.
Now to me, that was
pretty epic, huh?
Yeah. 2-2 on Correa. Yeah, it's about the Astros trying to pick up another W right now in Cleveland. Slider grounded left side. They'll get it out at second. That's all they'll get. Nice quick release by Urshela.
The 1969 draft. Jeff Burrows, #1 overall. J.R. Richard, #2 overall. Drafted in the same round as Bert Blyleven.
Gorman Thomas on that list, not Gullett. Probably one of Carl Patterson's favorites with the Reds.
Pretty good stuff right there.
Yeah, that's a pretty good #1 and 2 that year, right?
Yeah.
One out for Evan Gattis. So Carlos Correa is 0 for 4 tonight. Still looking for his first hit in Cleveland. Evan Gattis has a couple of knocks tonight. Struck out his first at bat, since then a couple of singles. All 6 Houston hits have been singletons. Oh, 0-2. Brian McTaggart come up with a foul ball tonight at the ballpark?
I think when it stopped rolling around.
The ball or Brian?
Both. Kind of probably met underneath the desk. He actually tweeted out a picture of the dent it left in the press box.
I could do again there, but I won't.
Do you think when you got drafted in 1969 that you'd have a Twitter account?
Surprisingly, it was not the first thing on my mind at that time. You know how we found out back in those days?
You read Express.
You read, well, you're tough. Ground ball to second. This is going to result in 2. 4, 6, and 3, and that'll do it for the Astros in the 8th inning. Solidly hit ball by Evan Gattis, but it creates a couple of outs. 2-0 Indians. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare right now at southwest.com. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Double Jack today. Only at Jack in the Box. Downtown Cleveland, and you can see Progressive Field over there. We have survived through, I think, really what most of us thought was going to be a lot of rain washing things out tonight.
There's a lot of concern about double headers or starting this game around 9 o'clock tonight.
Astros go to the bullpen once again. Roberto Hernandez comes in.
Pitched pretty good out of that bullpen for the Houston Astros. Been using them quite a bit here of late. That second game in Boston did a great job of giving that bullpen a night off. Throwing a couple innings. Back in his old stomping grounds.
Once upon a time, quite a pitcher for the Indians. Francisco Lindor, the shortstop, stands in hitting .207. 0 for 3 on the night. Fausto Carmona back in 2007 went 19-8 with the Indians. He was an all-star with Cleveland. Of course, he's changed his name, Roberto Hernandez. 2-0 the count. That pitch was close.
Yeah, it was. Good sinker.
Born in the Dominican Republic, 34 years of age. Gets a strike on this one. Bottom of the knees, 2-1 the count. He gets a lot of run and sink on that heater. Or was that possibly the change at 88? It's hard to tell with some of these guys. Lindor stays alive. It's 2-2. Yeah, listen to these numbers on Hernandez this year. He made 11 starts for the Astros, went 2-5 and had an ERA of 5.18. Since then, he's gone to the bullpen, pitched in 7 games prior to tonight, an ERA of 1.62. Yeah, very valuable out of the pen. Great play. Altuve from his knees makes the play, and out number 1. We've had some defensive gems this evening.
TXU energy powered player of the game is Michael Brantley. 2 for 3 tonight. That home run right there put the Indians up 2-0. That bomb in the bottom of the 6th inning. Minimal damage done to Vince Velasquez.
My surprise would be why just number 5 on the year for Brantley.
Yeah, seriously.
Brantley comes to the plate. Line shot just off the glove of Correa. 3rd hit of the night, and so close to another unbelievable play.
Rocket off the bat of Michael Brantley, and wow, just that close to another highlight reel.
Pretty good speed aboard. David Murphy, the cleanup man at the plate, has doubled. That plated a run in the 1st inning. Flied out and walked. .325 batting average. Let's take a look one more time at that effort by Correa.
So close.
It's about all a man can give. Bottom of the 8th inning, 2-0. Tribe on top, shot into right field. That's a base hit. Second for Murphy. Stopping at second is Michael Bradley. Well, that's what David Murphy's doing this year.
Really continues to rake the Astros. Played with the Rangers for a while. That was the changeup right there, but just does a good job. I always love hitting left-handed. When a guy had a good sinker, a good changeup, could do just that with the runner at first base being held on. Opened up a huge hole on that right side. Just get around the fastball or the changeup. Hit a lousy ground ball going to the right side.
Brian Shaw, the right-hander, getting loose in that pen for Cleveland. 2 runners aboard, 1 out. Yan Gomes at the plate, 1 for 3. Has grounded into the only double play turned on the evening by Houston. The Indians have also turned one, that on a very sharply hit ball by Evan Gattis. Strike at the knees, 1-1 now. Again, Gomes has been injured much of the season to this point. Drills one to left field. Freezing and making the play. Alex Presley, nice play. Second out on a line shot. Conger goes to the mound. Brandon Moss has struck out all 3 plate appearances tonight.
Might be mixing up signs. That last swing from Gomes being ripped into left field. Might be some concern that signs are being relayed from second base to the hitter at home.
Nice changeup for a swing and a miss. 2 runners aboard. Trying to keep it here. Been tough for the Astros bats tonight. 2-0 Cleveland.
It's kind of similar to what we saw in the Boston series, exploding on that first game of the series and then the second game just disappearing. Second game in the Boston series, they saw Clay Buchholz. This time, second go around with the Indians, they see Corey Kluber. A lot of the blame can be put on those 2 guys. A good time for a changeup. 2-1.
Little half swing going through. 2-2 now on Moss.
On that changeup. Those 1-0, 2-1 counts can be deceptively fastball counts because you figure the pitcher doesn't want to get to that 1-0 or that 2-0 or 3-1 count, but it's a good time for pitchers if they can get an off-speed pitch over, get the hitter guessing fastball, and you get swings like you just saw Brandon Moss take.
And again the changeup. Another strikeout for Brandon Moss, his 4th time tonight. We go to the 9th inning. The Astros with work to do, trailing at 2-0.
Now for our pitching performance brought to you by Kubota, it's Vince Velasquez. See his numbers on the night. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 2 runs allowed, 5 strikeouts. Pitched quite well. If you go back over the last 2 games previous to this, he went 6 1/3 also, pitching extremely well. Did a good job of that fastball, curveball combination. We even saw a couple of changeups mixed in there. Just the man is running into some tough luck right now with the offense unable to pick it up against Cleveland Indian pitching. See if they can take it to Brian Shaw, who now comes out of that Cleveland Indian bullpen.
36 games, great ERA at 1.88. Great whip, just over the 1 mark. Left-hand hitters, for whatever reason, not getting to him at all, and usually it would be some sort of a changeup.
Yeah, he's actually got a good split-fingered fastball, but it's how he sets him up. He throws nothing but cut fastballs.
Colby Rasmus leads it off, the 5-hitter. Hank Conger waits on deck. He'll be followed by Marwin Gonzalez. So if the Astros are going to win a second straight here in Cleveland, they've got to get something brewing here in the 9th inning.
Interesting that Brian Shaw is in this game, but you mentioned the numbers against left-handers might be the reason that Brian Shaw is in this game. Because you've got Colby Rasmus, Hank Conger, Marwin Gonzalez, who will be hitting from that left-handed side. Cody Allen is the normal closer for the Cleveland Indians.
Shaw has 1 save, so yeah, there's that little cut job right up on the hands.
Now let's see if he goes that split finger. Do you miss the lake effect mist here in Cleveland,
no,
Ash?
Probably not a whole lot, and you could see some of that mist when we were looking at Colby there.
Must have been extra special at Municipal Stadium.
There's the first out, a strikeout of Colby Rasmus. 3rd time for Colby tonight. 1 out for Hank Conger. Yeah, the old mistake by the lake, huh?
Couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah, you can see that mist coming down. I think there are a lot of people who might disagree with you. You know what? It was my first taste of the big leagues, and I didn't have any complaint.
Well, and that was like me coming up with Montreal, playing in the Big O in Montreal. A lot of people complained about it, but it's my first big league ballpark. I could care less.
You know, we didn't have a whole lot of fans in those days. Well, that's not put right. A whole lot of fans didn't come out to the ballpark. But there were a lot of people who followed the Cleveland Indians. Conger's 1 for 2. He's also walked, hits one sharply, but with that shift on the second baseman, Kipnis makes the play. 2 down quickly in the 9th. Stay tuned after the game as Bart Ennis and Mike Stanton break down all the action from today's game, plus interviews from the clubhouse and much more on the Astros postgame show presented by Houston Methodist. Marwin's 0 for 3 tonight. Did reach on a fielder's choice and got as far as 3rd base in the 7th. That's as far as any Astros base runner has gotten this evening. And the drum is dealing. The Astros have Chris Carter waiting on deck. Should Marwin reach, maybe try to get that one big swing. John Singleton is the guy due up next. How many years has he been there? Ground ball right side. 2 big hops for Kipnis. And that'll do it. The Indians shut down the Astros and win it 2-0 tonight. Great job by Kluber and bullpen as the Indians even the series at a game apiece.